Hey, beautiful mamas, and welcome back to the Birth Experience with Labor Nurse Mama, yours truly. I'm your host, and as always, I'm here to have the real, raw conversations about all aspects of the birth and the pregnancy journey, not just the highlight, like Instagrammable moments we see on social media, but the whole truth of what it means to carry life, love deeply, and sometimes face unimaginable loss. Today's conversation is going to be deeply personal for many of us. So I want to give you just a trigger warning because I'm sitting down with Jennifer Senn, a baby loss coach who knows this path intimately. Jennifer lost her twins at 32 weeks, and from that profound loss, she's created a calling. The Lord put a calling in her heart to walk alongside other parents through their darkest moments. And as someone who has experienced 3 early pregnancy losses myself, I know how isolating grief can feel and how desperately we need people who truly understand. There's nothing like speaking to someone who gets it without a ton of words. Whether you're currently walking through loss, supporting someone who is, or you're here because you work in maternal health like I do, this conversation is going to offer hope, healing, and practical support. Jennifer doesn't just offer sympathy. She offers real tools, real understanding, and most importantly, real hope for what healing can look like after the unthinkable happens. So before we dive in, I want to remind you that if this topic feels too heavy today, it's okay. Skip this episode, girl. And if you want to come back when you're ready, listen, take care of you first. And if you're in the thick of loss right now, please know you're not alone. If you're pregnant again after loss, you're not alone. And that baby mattered and your grief is valid. It's okay to feel grief and joy if you're pregnant with a rainbow baby. Anyway, all right, mama, let's get into this beautiful, hard, healing conversation with Jennifer Senn. Good morning, Jennifer.
Good morning.
I am so glad that you agreed to come. And as I told you, we've already kind of put up a trigger warning because this is going to be a heavy conversation, but I also think it's going to be a really important, beneficial conversation. Don't you agree?
I am so glad that you are willing to tackle this subject because it is one that no one wants to even think about or
hmm
enter into the possibility, but then when it happens either to you or someone you don't know what to do. So
hmm
I would imagine maybe this episode will get skipped by some people,
Yeah.
but it's also one to come back to
hmm
should something happen. So yeah, I love that you're willing to discuss this in your world.
Yeah. And I have a question for you about your own journey here in a second, but I want to say that I had a conversation with someone recently in real life, because those of us who work online, we have a lot of online conversations, sometimes not as many real life conversations, especially with me. And I've had 3 losses, which I've told you before. And I was speaking to someone who had a loss recently. And no matter where you're at in your journey, the loss of your child is a conversation people don't want to talk about.
No.
They're scared. They don't know what to say. So either they say really stupid things,
Hmm.
and we're going to talk about that,
Hmm.
or they say nothing and they just act like it didn't happen. And then on the flip side, a lot of women just don't talk about it for whatever reasons.
Hmm.
And so then we were talking about the fact that, especially with early loss, right? It's a little different when you're navigating late term loss or baby loss after birth. But even my mom, you know my story. My mom lost my sister at birth. And the other flip side of it is that no one's talking about it. So then when it happens to you, and if you are brave and you talk about it, which you should, then you're like, this person's like, oh yeah, I had a loss. This person's like, I had a loss. I had a loss. I had a loss. I had a loss. And you're like, how did I not know this? This is a significant thing that happened to you. Why do I not know this? So we're going to start this conversation after all that whole tangent, because y'all
No,
know this how I
I
roll.
have I have so many things. Yeah.
Yes. And we're going to get there. But I would love if you could take us back to that moment. And I know you and I have spoken about it when you first learned
Yeah.
that your twins were gone? How many weeks were you like, kind of take us back? How, whatever you feel like you need to say, like, no limits here. You know how I roll.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you. Yeah. So I was 29 years old. I had had two perfectly strong, big, healthy little boys. No, I'd never experienced any type of loss before that. So I had no reason to believe that this third pregnancy would be any different. Well, then we went in and it was twin girls.
Which you're like,
Which we were like, "What?" Oh my
yeah.
gosh. And I went out to the car and cried, which of course I later beat myself up about because I
Hmm.
thought, well, if I wouldn't
Maybe
have
it's my
cried,
fault.
if that was
Hmm.
yeah. But I cried about it because we were already like, well, I mean, we were okay with one more, but two, but then we just quickly embraced that this was the grand finale to our family. They were two
Which
girls.
is what we do as women. That's how
Yes,
we
we
roll.
were thrilled and
Yeah.
everything was going really well. We did know they were identical and shared a blood supply, but
Hmm.
not, so slightly higher risk maybe at birth, but nobody was concerned. In fact, I went to my 32-week appointment on a Tuesday and my doctor said, "Oh, you're just the textbook case of
Perfect twin
twin
pregnancy.
pregnancy. You
Yeah.
look great. Everything's great." So I breathed. And
Hmm.
then by Friday, it was Halloween. And my boys, of
Ooh.
course, wanted to trick or treat. They were 5 and 2. And so we went trick or treating and I was really tired. But I just thought, I'm pregnant. It's twins.
With
I'm
2
pregnant.
babies.
And
Yeah.
they were very active. And I was at that point where their personalities. I knew
Yeah.
one was a little more active than the other, and then the different times of day. Like we were, so close that we knew all those things. And so I was really, really tired. And when I woke up, I didn't feel any movement. But I was like, well, I'm just tired. And we were out late. And so you do the whole thing, the orange juice and the laying down and then the moving around and like all the things that you know to be true
Yeah.
to get them going. And nothing was. So about 9:30, 10 o'clock, I called my doctor and said I was concerned. And they were like, well, it's probably nothing. And just
Yeah.
come in at 2. So I did. I arranged for the other kids, luckily, to go to my mother-in-law's and
Did
I
you
went
go alone?
I went alone because my husband is a physician assistant and he worked in ER. So he was at the hospital on a 12-hour, shift. And so of course I drove alone
Yeah,
yeah,
because it's gonna be
because it
nothing.
was no big deal.
I'm just
It was just
I'm just being I'm being
it
over
was
hyper.
just
Yeah.
in my head, yeah. And so I went in and they did the sonogram and you just know. The minute you
Yeah.
see the look on their face, and then when they have to go get the doctor,
Mhm.
and then when the doctor comes in and said, we're having trouble finding a heartbeat, but why don't you go to the hospital? They have more sophisticated sonogram machines. Maybe they can see one there,
Mhm.
which was his way of saying he didn't want to tell it me himself.
Yeah. I
And
mean, I can tell you from
yeah,
being the nurse
yeah,
who can't find the heartbeats in those situations, it is absolutely terrifying.
the worst.
Terrifying. And like we can't communicate it to you. We do have to get the doctor. So I just can't even imagine. And this doctor had a relationship with you guys.
Well, he did because my husband worked ER, so we all
Hmm.
knew each other, and
Did he deliver the boys as well?
he did.
So he really had, like, he
So
was
he was
probably, I,
not. Yeah,
I
it was.
bet, yeah, I bet his heart was breaking at that point.
Yeah, yeah. So I went over, met my husband.
Okay, that was my next question. Please tell me your husband met you there.
He
Okay, good.
did.
So you're
Although somehow, and then I think about it sometimes. How in the world did I get in my car from
you
that
probably don't remember that
and
drive at all.
drive down the road? Like
Yeah.
how? But I did. But you just feel.
Do you feel like you were still like hoping at that point,
Yeah,
or did you
yeah. I
know?
was like, oh, well, they'll find something and we'll figure
Yeah.
this out. We'll make it. It'll be okay. So I met up with him there and, got the definitive diagnosis. Then we're presented the options. Do do you carry it around until you go into labor naturally, or do you start induction? And I just was like, well, I don't know. I just didn't know. So we
Yeah,
went.
how do you make such a big decision at that moment? Like, that's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, you just can't because
Mhm.
it's nothing you ever dreamed that you'd ever have to think about.
Yeah.
So we did go home that night, and I remember, and my husband, I remember him. I mean, he's the most amazing, and very clinically minded, of course.
Yeah.
But he was just like, I could tell he didn't want to touch me because I had dead babies,
Mhm.
and it was,
I don't think you've ever told me that before.
I probably didn't, but it was really, and he did. I mean, he was as good as he could be, but I could tell it was really
Well,
freaky. It was
and
freaky.
he just lost his 2 girls.
And he did. Yeah.
Mhm.
And he, in his clinical mind, was trying to make sense of this, like,
Mhm.
this whole thing. And then there was me. It was not good. And so we decided we had to go home. We told the boys, the family, everybody was
And how
there,
old were the boys at that point?
5 and 2.
So they didn't understand.
My oldest one did some, but not so much. And
Mhm.
then I went in the next day, was induced for 3 days,
Oh
which
my gosh.
this was my
And you're in labor and delivery,
in labor and delivery.
which is so hard.
So hard.
Yeah.
For 3 days. And that was kind of my legacy with the other boys too, is I, tried induction, and I just ended up with C-sections with both of them too. But they really were trying to avoid that because they were like,
Yeah.
enough's enough. We don't want you to have physical recovery on top of everything
Mhm.
else. So we did it for 3 days. At the end of the third day, I said, that's it. I'm done.
Mhm.
I went and I called in my dream team. I had, the doctors I wanted, the anesthesiologist I wanted, everyone I wanted was there.
Mhm.
And it was as good as it could have been in that situation. And it just, yeah. And then you go home.
Well, let me ask you a couple questions because a lot
Yeah.
of things have changed.
Mm,
I've been a labor and delivery nurse forever,
yeah.
20 years and 16 years in labor and delivery. And when I first started, it was starting to get better. But I know when my mom had her baby, my mom didn't even get to see her hold her. What was your experience with the girls? Did you hold them? Did you spend time with
Did.
them?
We
Did you
did.
get pictures?
We
All of
have,
those?
so not to sound like a dinosaur, but there were no cell phones yet.
No, well, I
It's
know.
been
I'm a dinosaur
25
too.
years. So yeah, they gave us a disposable camera. They did do the hospital pictures with them. So I do have pictures. It's certainly not like people have now by any means, but
Yeah.
and we did spend a decent amount of time, although I have no concept of how much time it was.
Did they give you a memory box or anything like that?
No, no.
So I don't know if you're aware of the differences now. You probably are since you're in this
Yeah.
field, but now we have the cooling cots,
So good.
which
I
keep
know.
the baby. I mean, I've had moms that keep their babies for like up to 36 hours.
That's a.
And it's really based on them.
Mhm.
And thank God for some of those advances. And
Yeah.
like the nurse who labors and, your labor and delivery nurse, we're the ones that have the honor of
Yeah.
taking pictures, getting footprints. I always tried to get a handprint. It's not always as easy. Getting pictures of mom and baby, partner and baby, whoever's in the room. And I feel like that in itself honors that this is your baby and that's your time with them,
Yeah,
you know?
for
And
sure.
I'm so grateful for the advances I've seen because when I first started, there was almost like a she wants to hold them how long? Like what? Like there so do you feel like looking back, are there some things that you wish the medical team, the staff had done differently?
Yes, I do. I think they were amazing. I have nothing but wonderful memories of what they did try to do, but yeah, like
Mhm.
they're definitely. I think I went from I didn't want to see them at all And my husband insisted on it. Thank goodness. And I'm
Yeah.
glad I did.
Thank goodness.
And I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
Of course, part of me now is like, I wish I could have done it longer. And I should
Yeah.
have gotten more pictures and I should have, but you don't
There's
know.
so many what ifs.
There's
Goodness
so
gracious.
many.
What ifs can kill you.
When you're in that
Yeah.
moment, you just are survival minute to minute.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, but there
Do
would,
you think their communication with you? Do you think there's wording? Do you think there's demeanor, like ways that you feel? Because I have a lot of maternal health experts who listen to my podcast.
yeah,
So I would love for them to hear from a mom.
yeah. The
I
one
do feel like we've come a long way. So
I
hopefully,
think so.
yeah,
I do
yeah,
too. I work a lot too with my local hospital and I'm like, oh yay, I'm so happy they
yeah,
have these
yeah,
things now and it's so much better. But really the thing that stands out is one of the labor nurses I think she had a loss herself and told me about it. That's what we want to hear.
yeah,
We at least for myself, and I believe that a lot about a lot of the women I work with. We want to know someone else survived it because it
yeah.
doesn't feel like we're
And
ever
here
gonna
you are.
survive this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, oh look, they survived it. How did they? And so
Hmm.
hearing someone else's story, and honestly, anytime she could, she would just come in and hold my hand and cry with me
Yeah.
or let me cry. That's it.
So,
She
so
said,
for you guys listening, if you're a labor nurse, because there's a mixed bag on that one. I mean, obviously we can't lose our poo. We have to be able to do our job, but crying, like I think every loss that I've been the nurse for, I I'll tell you, I'll be honest with you. In my experience, the mom is a freaking rock and it's the dad who loses it the biggest
yeah,
during that experience because she is focused. She has a job. And I feel like the mom loses it a little later, whereas the dad has a really hard time, you
yeah.
know?
Well, men are groomed to be the fixers. They're the
Hmm.
ones that are supposed to
And they
make
can't
everything
fix
okay, and
this.
there's nothing they can do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has to be the most helpless feeling ever where, like you said, the woman,
She has a
she
job to
has a
do.
role, she has, people are taking care of her and things like
Hmm.
that, where he's just standing there helpless. So that
Yeah.
would make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's my
Whew.
biggest advice is to say nothing.
Yeah.
Say
Oh my
nothing,
gosh.
be
Yes.
there, hold their hand if they want,
Cry with them.
be there and it's okay to just say, this is terrible. I hate that you're going through this.
Hmm.
That's it.
So obviously, so a lot of you guys know that I also have a coaching business. I want to say mentoring. We were talking about this word. I
Mhm.
mentor and I guide women who have an impact driven business like Jennifer, how to do the things that those of us are really experts in our field don't know how to do, which is like social media and like outreach and growing funnels and all that. But I want everyone to hear, what was the turning point that made you realize I want to help other parents experiencing baby loss and how to navigate that?
Mm. Truly, my own story was after my loss, I didn't know what to do. I had these two little boys who needed a decent mom.
Hmm.
And, I tried to put it all together. So I just dove into being a mother. I had another baby shortly after.
Did you go to
It was a whole
therapy?
other thing. No, no, we didn't
Oh,
go to
Lord.
therapy then.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. Yeah, no, I know because
No,
I'm an older woman too. I
that
know
was
what that's
only
like.
for like,
Yeah.
yeah, people
You
who
you
are,
die, you dig in and you do
yeah, like you just do it. You just
function.
work,
Yeah.
you get it over, you just put it
Yeah.
behind you. Yeah.
Hmm.
So I had another baby, which was that's a whole other day. And then, and so I just got busy. I opened a business. I owned a large salon and spa for several years. And I built my business and I was busy with the kids. And I figured as long as I was busy and exhausted at night, the grief wouldn't catch up with me.
And you didn't talk about it.
No, I didn't know that's what it was until several years later, that the grief just wouldn't catch up with me. And there was always a desire from the moment it happened to me. And it also had happened to my mom. So this was sort of a family legacy. My
Ooh.
mom had a full term stillbirth too.
Did I? I don't feel like I know
Yeah,
this.
maybe not. Yeah, my
Oh,
mom,
wow.
yeah, her baby died during birth that was older than me. So, we've always had this
So
conversation
you
in
knew
our
that your whole
families.
life.
Like,
Yeah.
I saw what happened. And I knew I wanted to be able to help other people through this someday because I found so much comfort in the ones who
Yeah.
did come forward to me. But I was
Did your
so busy.
mom did your
No,
mom help you in any way?
no,
Because we know your mom's not gonna listen to my podcast, so I feel like you could be
no.
honest about that.
My mom died
Yeah.
about a year ago, but yeah,
Okay.
she didn't. She never really could say.
Because they didn't talk about it
They
for
didn't
sure.
talk about it.
My mom, I think I told you this when my mom lost Michelle, which I like to honor her by her name. Like, let's say her name. Her name was
Yeah.
Michelle. When my mom lost Michelle, so she was, my mom had my sister and brother, and my older brother. I think I'm the baby of 7. So everybody's way older than me. And I'm pretty sure Steve was still living at home. And my grandma came in from Kentucky. My family's very Southern. Let me just say that. And Southern women just tuck in and do. They do not sit around and complain. And my mom told me, now, Jennifer, this was literally when I had my losses. The same day I lost my first loss, my niece lost a 34-weeker to a cord accident. And somehow that brought up conversations that, I mean, when you're growing up as a teenager, you're not thinking about your mom and what she's going through at all. So I never really asked her about it. I always knew the story. Like, I knew because she always signed my cards. You're my miracle baby, because she wasn't supposed to get pregnant again. She got pregnant. She had me. So the story was always there, but I never actually woman to woman, like, this makes me choke up a little, like, asked my
Mhm.
mom.
Yeah.
And gosh darn. And I remember when I had my loss, which changed me as a woman, because I had always had a preconceived notion of especially early term loss. And as a labor nurse, it completely redefined me and allowed me to be a better one. And then I had 2 more losses. But I remember talking to my mom, and for the first time, I wondered, like, what was it like for you, mom? Tell me the experience. And I remember her telling me that, which my mom is, you just have to know me, but my mom was in bed. First of all, she had a C-section, number one.
Mm.
And she's got 2 kids who are, I mean, probably about the same ages of yours.
Yep.
And her baby, they had, back then they didn't have what we have now. So her baby was born with a hole in her diaphragm. Like, all of her internal organs have moved around. It just, what now she could have had surgery,
Yeah.
totally different.
Yeah.
But then I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you. But my mom said she was in bed and grieving. And my grandma came in and said, get your ass out of the bed, get up. You have children to take care of. Suck it up. There's nothing you can do. And it was like, close the door on your grief. No more grief. And hearing my mom say that, it explained so much to me about my mother as a woman. And so, like, I would gander your mom went through a similar type of suck it up, deal, life happens. This is just part of
Yeah.
life.
I believe so. She talked about it to a certain extent, but not really. And even after my loss, she didn't come in and be like, "Oh my gosh, I know exactly." Like, it was a very interesting dynamic because you would think that she and I felt for her. I can't imagine how hard it was for her to relive that through,
And to see her daughter have to go
to
through it.
see it. Yeah, to see it
But
again.
she also wasn't equipped to walk you through it.
She just could, and I think that's why she said less.
Yeah.
She was just like, "Listen, I never figured it out. I don't know what to tell you."
Yeah.
I really believe.
Which again, like, kudos to you, Jennifer, because you're like, okay. And I truly believe, and like, those of you guys listening, like, I am a believer. I believe in the Bible. I
Mhm.
believe in God. I believe in Jesus. And I have walked through some really horrible suffering in my life. And in the midst of it, when someone is like, God's going to use your suffering for someone else's glory, you're like, F that. You know what I mean? Which, I mean, fudge that. Y'all know I don't say the other one.
Mhm.
But I truly do believe that we have a choice. We get to define our suffering. We can be, woe is me, I'm a victim, whole life is over, like, blah, blah, blah. Or you can say, you know what? I went through this and now I'm going to come alongside other moms, which
Yeah.
is what you're doing and why I love working with you, because you can sit in a room, you can hold space for these women in a way that the rest of us cannot.
Yeah.
And
There's something different when you've lived it
mm-hmm.
versus just learned about it. So yeah, that is really, I sat for a very long time in like, I guess I just have to like get through this life. I can't make any plans. I can't do anything. And, I'm just going to have to just struggle through and get through and make the best of it as I can.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went to a business conference where there was a coach. There was a life coach. And I thought, well, that's weird. Why do they have a life coach at a
Who needs a
business
coach for
conference?
life?
Like this
Yeah.
business. I don't know
Yeah.
what she's doing here. And everyone else did vision boards. And or we were all supposed to be doing vision boards. And I just sat there blank. I was like, what? Like, what do you
Yeah.
mean?
What is this
I
hokey
don't know
doke?
that I
Yeah.
can make money. I don't know that I can have anything better. Like, I'm just, I'm lucky to.
Did you feel guilt of
I
maybe being excited about life or
I was just
having,
like, I was just really bewildered by it all. I'm like, how do
yeah,
these people dare to say this? Like, you don't know what's going to happen. You can plan your whole life and you don't know what's going to happen because
yeah,
right, 'cause, like
yeah.
I had
No,
the big lesson in like,
and there's before, like for me, like one of my big things is my ex-husband fell and had a
yeah,
very significant brain injury. There's life before it and there's life after it.
that's
And
exactly it.
and I feel like I still to this day have to like reel myself in of feeling like what's next? Like what
Yeah.
bad thing is going to come?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly how I was. I was like, well,
Mhm.
maybe I could get a nicer car, but I don't know. You never know what's going to happen,
Yeah.
and that's really how I was just operating. And she saw that. She saw I was sitting there frozen and she came over and she's like, "What's really behind this?" And then I just was like, it just all of a sudden I realized that because of my experience with my loss, I was living life very, very safe because I just didn't
Mhm.
ever want to set myself up for that kind of disappointment again.
Yeah.
And then I worked with her for a while afterwards and I thought, this is it. This is what I needed to know in order to help women do what I wanted to do and help walk them through it because
Yeah.
she just was able to show me like it's okay. It's okay. No one ever told me it was okay to grieve. No one ever told me it was okay to cry or be angry or, none of that was okay until she told me that it was.
And that's so simple.
And that's what I needed.
Yeah.
And I think we as women we get so sucked into the guilt and into being the blame. And when something like this happens in your body, you can't not blame yourself. That's where you go
Yeah, your
is
body failed
blaming
you.
yourself.
That's how I felt too. Like my
Yeah.
baby, I felt like my body killed my babies.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah.
then so being able to help women release that and
Mhm.
release that guilt, like
Yeah.
it changes your whole life. It changes every aspect of your life.
So that would lead me into like, how do you help these parents navigate those different stages of guilt or grief, especially
Mm.
when you and I both know men and women or,
Mhm.
people grieve differently. So
Yeah.
how do you navigate that? Like, and what does it look like for these moms to work with you and walk this journey with you?
Yeah. Typically, they will come to me because of something. They just can't let something go, whether it's guilt, whether it's the anger, whether they're frustrated with their body, maybe they want to get pregnant again, but they're scared.
Yeah.
And so then we just, we really, what I love about what I do versus therapy, I love therapists, but
Yeah.
it's definitely more action focused instead of just analyzing. Like, yes,
Which, hello, I am like not to interrupt you again, but
no, you're fine.
have you ever seen there is a documentary, and those of you guys who listen to me regularly probably know I talk about this, but Jonah Hill has a documentary. Have you seen it with his therapist? It's like
No,
something Stutz or something. If
no.
you haven't watched it, watch it because he talks about how you go to a therapist because you want them to tell you what the stink to do and they just listen. Then and And then you go to your friends who you want to just listen and they tell you what to do and they don't know what the hell they're talking about.
Right.
So
Yes.
I love it that we're saying
I
this
love
because
that.
I do think there's so much value in therapists holding space, but I'll tell you what, my best therapists have been the one who have broken the wall and told me exactly what I need to do because that's what I need sometimes.
Yes. Right. I think there's something I love therapy and it certainly has its place, but there's also a point which I think is what I do in coaching is yes, here's your experience. We're going to honor it. It's not going
Yeah.
anywhere. It's going to be there. So how do we take that experience and keep going and keep planning and all the while let this experience feed you. It made me a better mother. It made me more intentional. It made me, really dive into my relationship in order
Yeah.
to save it. And it makes you, but without some help, I wouldn't have done it. I would have still been in
Yeah.
space of,
You would have been stuck.
we're just here. We're just making the best of it. We're just going day to day. So that's what I love about it is I'm able to take their fears, take their anger,
Yeah.
and then help them look at what are the facts of that. What's really true about it? Was it your fault? Probably not.
Mhm. Yeah.
99% no. What are the facts of it? How can you think about things different and talk better to yourself? I do a lot of
Mhm.
that with women because we talk to ourselves so terrible,
Yes.
worse than we would
Yeah.
ever talk to anyone
Yeah.
else. And talk better to yourself and start releasing that guilt and fear.
Yeah. If you could go back
Mm,
and tell Jennifer, like
mm,
your past self, one piece of advice during your darkest points, what would that be?
mm. I think it would be that I still would choose this experience over that this I would still go through the experience to have had as much time with them as I did. Those
Mhm.
32 weeks was so joyful and so exciting. I wouldn't ever take it back.
Wow. That's really huge.
And who it made me on the other side of it, even through the struggle.
Mhm.
I do wish I would have told her to find some help sooner and that it was okay to look for help. But even through the struggle, I think who I am now wouldn't have been possible without that experience.
Yeah, because now you're a baby loss coach, a pregnancy loss coach. You provide stillbirth support,
Mhm.
and all of that comes from losing your twins.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was pregnant with Grayson, so I want to ask you about your pregnancy after the loss.
Mm.
I was a wreck, and I remember someone who had experienced a lot of loss, like a lot more than me. She said, "You are pregnant today. You have the honor of carrying this baby today." And I thought of that when you were saying that you wouldn't go back and change it because when I was able to flip it, and because I was literally constantly checking the toilet paper, is he
Mhm.
moving? I went in, here I am, a labor and delivery nurse. Like I work in labor and delivery, but I was going in for decreased fetal movement quite a bit. And I remember when she said that, being like, yeah, like, okay, I don't get to decide tomorrow. Grayson may be taken from me tomorrow, but today I'm his mom. Today I'm carrying him. Today I have this honor. So I'm interested to know, like, how did you navigate that next pregnancy? Was there a lot of
It
fear?
was yes. I was at the point where I was like, I knew that this could not be the end of my story. My
Yeah.
my baby's story, and I knew I wanted another child, and that waiting, 6 months or a year or
Hmm.
whatever, 3 years was not gonna make it any better, and so I jumped in and my doctor was just and the sweet doctor that delivered them all said, "This is you're never going to have a relaxing pregnancy ever again."
Yeah.
It's like, that is so true. It's true,
Hmm.
and it
At least
was
we call it. Yeah.
full of fear. It was full
Mhm.
of fear, but they were wonderful because they said, anytime that you feel, like you said, like with Grayson,
Yeah.
anytime that you are panicked, come in.
Hmm.
Just come
Yeah.
in. We'll do a heartbeat check. We'll do a scan, whatever we need to do to put your mind at ease, which was a lifesaver. I
Did you
didn't do
do
it
that?
very often, not very,
Okay.
maybe twice.
Yeah. I tell my
Um,
students all the time, we don't mess around with that. If you even
yeah,
think, just come in.
if it eases your mind,
Yeah.
it's okay.
Because we won't judge you on that at all. Yeah.
No, because it is so, so scary. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it was a really hard one. I feel like I disconnected. I disconnected from her
From
because,
bonding.
mm-hmm. Yep. I mean, I was so thrilled. I was so excited. I couldn't
Yeah.
beat all of it. But at the same time, there was a part of me that was like, I don't know if she's, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
And you say
Well,
things to yourself like, well, if this baby
yeah. And
comes,
then you find yourself like not wanting to future pace at all. Like I felt the same way. Like I didn't want to talk about the future with Grayson. And I even remember the first few nights with him after he's born, feeling very much like it was surreal and it could all go away at any moment.
scared to death.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was not the joyful ones like the ones before.
Yeah. And I'm so glad we're talking about this because I feel like for any of you guys listening, I feel like I also felt guilt that I wasn't like I don't know. Not that I didn't bond with him at all, but it was different and I was scared. There was so much fear. And after he's born again, like there was so much fear.
Yeah,
And no one really normalized that for me because nobody freaking talks about it.
nobody talks about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was very, very protective of her. Probably still am.
I
But I
would love to hear what she has to say about that.
would agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was, yeah, because I put all my eggs in her basket, Here,
Yeah.
here you're supposed to make up for the two that aren't here.
Yeah.
That was a lot. And I mean, I had a full on almost breakdown when she went to kindergarten because I was scared that that,
Come home.
she wouldn't live through the day without me or something. I don't know what.
Yeah. I mean, I still have the same thing. Grayson's 10 and when most of
Mhm.
my other children are adults and when they want to drive him somewhere, I have to walk through a process of letting them be in control of his care.
But I think it's after grief, after,
Hmm.
yeah, it's that
Yeah. Well, and
familiarity.
having life change, like even just what happened to my ex-husband, like knowing that I'll never forget, I was 14 weeks pregnant when he fell and I was on the treadmill, I was running. And when I got the call, and I can still remember looking down, I know exactly what I was wearing, what I was feeling, all of those things. And again, that like I got onto the treadmill before and I came off of it after. And my life is defined by that before and after moment, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. Think you'd never look at things the same again.
No, because you know that you feel like you feel like I feel like I was naive prior to that in a
Mm-hmm.
way.
Yeah.
Because you hear of other people having suffering and you're like, well, that can never happen to me. Like that's them.
Yeah. That.
Yeah.
Which I do think you think in stillbirth, like it's something that
Yeah.
happens to other people.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and people dismiss your fear too when you're pregnant, like with the like decreased fetal movement, and people are like, well, everything's fine. Like, okay, well, we don't know that. Let's go in and get checked.
Women have had
Okay.
babies just
Yeah.
fine for years.
Yeah.
Well,
And women have lost
and
babies
they,
for years.
yeah, that's the part they didn't, yeah, they
Yeah.
don't take into account.
I know. And well, and people people are like, "Oh my gosh, you're a labor nurse. That's so amazing. Like what an amazing job." And like
Fun.
every time I hear that, like I flash all the moms that I've sat with and the babies I've taken care of that didn't make it. And not that I want to scare anybody. This is why I gave the trigger warning, but I feel like this is a conversation that needs to be had and we need to talk through these things because this is real life. Life, we talk about this in the coaching group. Life keeps lifing
It does.
no matter what. And just being able to hold space, like I'm so proud of you. And I know when we even talked about you coming into the mastermind, and like, I just am so grateful for what you're doing because this baby loss healing journey is freaking forever, right? It's the rest of your life.
And that's, yes, I do think that is something that I love to bring into the spaces. It's been 25 years for me, but it's still there. It's still
Yeah.
there. I might not cry about it every day anymore, but it is still
Yeah.
affects my life. It still is there. And yeah, I the perspective I've gained for a lot of things, what's important
Yeah.
in life, what's not,
Yeah.
is because of this. And
Yeah.
so it is something that you can't put under the rug no matter how hard
Yeah.
you try.
Have any of your children had children?
Not yet.
How do you think that's
Scares
going to
me
be
to
for you?
death. It scares me to
Okay.
death.
Okay.
Because also there is a risk, I mean, risk, but they're all up for twins, right? Because
Yeah.
yeah, there's a line of the twins. I don't know how I will survive. I know it's not about me.
did you ever get any answers on why you lost the twins?
It was a cord accident.
I was
And
wondering.
because they shared, the blood supply,
Yeah.
once it was really present in one twin in her cord, and so then it just instantly took it from the other.
Ugh,
Yeah,
I hate cord accidents. Oh my
I do
gosh.
too. It's so sad.
Oy, yeah. Well, but you know what? Like, I know my personality, I feel like to have an answer is
Mhm.
like, because I know a lot of moms who never get an answer.
It's the human condition, right? Like,
Yeah.
we have to know,
Yeah. Give
and
me
have a
why.
reason.
Yeah.
And that's why, so me kind of going back into the things that people say. So like that's one thing that I think, because of our human condition, we have to know that we have to have a reason. We have to have, this.
So you're talking about people asking you why.
Well, just even offering things like, oh well, it must have been sick, or must be, people give you all of these things.
Or you can always have more
Yes,
babies.
it's okay. You can have another baby, and you
Mhm.
can, God must have needed this baby more than you did, and all
Oh
of
my
these
gosh.
things.
Or you thank God you have children at home.
Yes, well, at least you have.
I heard yeah, I heard all that too.
Yeah. If
Mhm.
someone told me, this was my favorite one, well, at least you didn't get attached to them. And I was like,
People say the stupidest things,
yeah.
like, I just, like, this is why
This is a
just don't
whole
say nothing. Just don't
episode.
say nothing.
Yeah.
You know, would you believe when I have a daughter who's adopted. I had 4 boys, adopted a daughter. This is so off topic, but random, but you know how I go. So, I had 4 boys, adopted Sitara. She was probably when I got pregnant with Lainey, she was almost 5, right? And I'm pregnant with a girl. I'm having a girl. And we are on it. My kids were very athletic. We were at a hotel for a baseball tournament. And me and some of the moms were all sitting around talking. And this mom says to me, she's like, now that you're having a girl, are you going to send Satara back?
What?
I I still am at a loss for words.
Wow.
And I was like, or she said, "Are you going to keep her?" or something to that effect. I've had this baby since she was 16 months old. She's literally like she's 25 now. She's always been like she'll just stand and stare at me and listen and like she's always just been like my girl, you know. And I always joke that I had to go to another country to get a child more like me, but I still I
What
was mad.
in
I
the
was angry. I was
world?
very angry. And I was like, oh, yeah, yeah, I'm just going to return her because now I'm getting a girl. Cause it's all about like, did I get a girl or not? Like when
Wow.
I adopted Satara, I got to check a box on gender, what I wanted. So obviously I had 4 boys. I wanted a girl,
Yeah.
but that's about as far as I cared. I didn't care if
Oh,
she had special needs. I didn't care like what her skin color was, any of that.
no.
I was so blown away. And I remember laying in the hotel room that night being like, do I punch her or do I educate her? Like, I don't even know what to say. Like, she is my daughter, you moron. Like, I was so mad. And fast forward to my losses. Like, I remember I can still, and I think that some of the callous words that are said, like, they cement you to a place and a time And I remember I had when I had my first loss, I was working a travel assignment. I was in the OR doing a C-section with a precious patient, and I knew I was miscarrying, but I didn't leave her until after I
Mhm.
got her to the PACU and then told them. And I got home from that travel assignment and I was at church, and this girl-ish, she's the late 30s, never been married, but she was like a child. And she, she comes up, and I don't remember exactly, like, she said something about me being pregnant, which of course I wasn't. And that was really hard, was people not knowing. I'm sure you experienced this for the people who
Yeah.
are finding out for the
Yeah.
first
Oh
time,
gosh. Yeah.
not knowing. It sucks. And she was like, I'm not joking. She kind of laughed, not laughed a little bit. She was like, I mean, kinda, and was like, oh, I bet you're so relieved. Like, you didn't need another baby. And I was like, I'm going to poke you in the eyeballs. Like, that's how I felt. I felt
Can we
violent.
just normalize not saying
Saying a
anything
damn
about
word.
anybody's parenthood journey because
Yeah. Yes.
you don't know anyone's story. I know and my mother-in-law, because my daughters-in-law, like, they're just all getting married now. And so my mother-in-law is 80, and well, you better hurry up because they're like in their 30s.
Because they're old.
Yeah, I'm like, you don't know. You don't know if they can, if they want to,
Yes.
what they're
And that's,
doing. But I
yeah,
mean,
like, yes, yes.
stop it. Yeah.
Yeah, when you see someone who's married who hasn't had baby, well, when are you going to have babies? You don't know what they're going through.
No one knows someone's story.
Stop asking that. And, as I got older, and of course I have 7 kids, people, especially elderly people, will say stuff to you in the grocery store, like when they were all little. And I remember finally people would be like, don't you know what causes that?
Oh, I
And
knew
so what I started
that.
doing was I turn around and go, yes, I do. And I like it a lot, because they're asking me about my sex life, basically.
Pretty much, yeah.
Come
Well, and
on.
another one in my community that is so hard, we talk a lot about this in my community, is how many kids do you have?
Yeah. How do you answer that?
And I know I know it's a conversation starter. I know it's a
Hmm.
But when we're being sensitive to everyone else's, desires in the world, let's be sensitive
Yeah.
about
Like, how about tell me about
that.
your family instead of asking how many
Yeah,
children do you have? Yeah.
I know. And I mean, truly,
Hmm.
unless you've been through it, it's something
Yeah.
you don't think of. But I would love to see society grow in some of these areas too.
How do you
Because
coach these moms and these parents in your community who have lost? How do you coach them for that one? What is your advice to them?
that one, I say, because also too, that if they don't include the baby, then they feel guilty.
Yeah.
Like, so there's like this whole multi-layer thing that goes with it. But I just say, you assess who's asking. Do
Hmm.
they get to know your whole story?
Hmm.
Do you just tell them, maybe the ones that are the children that are with you, maybe you just tell them that number, because they really
Hmm.
don't care. It's truly just
People don't
it's just
care.
a point
Yeah.
of conversation. They
And
really
they don't want to hear something hard.
And they don't wanna hear your whole yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
now, I've done that before where I've said, "Oh, I just have 3 kids." Then I get to know someone a little more, then I let them in on my whole story,
Yeah.
because then
Yeah.
we're a little more invested and they can carry it. I wanna
Yeah.
share with them. I don't feel like everyone needs to know,
Yeah.
and not everyone gets to know your story is what
Yeah.
I tell them.
Well, I would say for you, some that has changed now that people are knowing that you are a baby loss coach, a stillbirth coach,
Yes. Oh, 100.
So that might be opening up doors for you as well.
Yeah, it's
Well, Jennifer, this has been an amazing conversation. I am so happy that you came on. And for those of you guys who have stuck with us to the end that are listening, if you want more information or you're going through loss, Jennifer, tell everyone where they can find you.
I'm on Instagram. I'm on all the socials at Navigating Baby Loss. And my website is jennifersenn.com. And I have a free ebook that
Okay,
is
so we can
great
link that.
yeah,
Can we link that in the show notes? Okay,
absolutely.
good. So if you guys want that, that's perfect. And thank you again for sharing your story, and thank you for doing something so amazingly needed. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
you.
Well, I appreciate all the work you're doing too. Thank
Well,
you.
thank you. For anyone listening who's connected with Jennifer's story or needs the extra support she was talking about, we'll have all her information in the show notes. Do not hesitate to reach out to her. Healing doesn't have to be a journey you walk alone. And Mama, if this episode brought up big feelings for you, please be gentle with yourself. Grief has its own timeline and healing isn't linear. If you found value in today's conversation, please share it with someone who might need to hear it. Sometimes we can become the bridge for someone else's healing just by being brave enough to share our own story. I'll be back with you guys next week with another real conversation or birth experience or birth education, because we want to be there with you. You are so amazing and so strong. I love you guys so much. And as always, see you again next week. Bye for now.